Hey everyone, how you doing today? My name's Kirsty, aka Beth Bookish, and this is my, for once, not as ambitious TBR for Adventurerathon and Orilium. If you are new to the channel and you're not yet aware of either of these things, I run a readathon called the Adventurerathon. We've created our characters, we took them on an adventure in January where we ended up going down these portals trapped in the kingdom of Ashwood. The kingdom has been taken over by this evil Dullahan spirit, aka the Headless Horseman. Place them under a curse, and you are now there to try and work as a team to collect enough keys to enter his lair and kill him in the final week. Because this is obviously my readathon, and even though I do have two incredible co-hosts, Jonah and Ren, I still try to, reduce the pressure of myself on what things I want to do during that month, because I have a lot of stuff that I'll be needing to do through the month. And unlike previous rounds of Adventurerathon where it's like I can just throw everything out to you in the first week and then I don't need to do any other admin until the end of it, this time it's going to be a bit interactive throughout the month, and then especially in that final week when you are having the big boss fight. I need to be able to get some reading in and also be able to manage all of that. Yes, I'm still doing the Orilium Magical Readathon by G from Book Roast because I've been doing that since before it was Orilium. This will be like my 6th year, I think, taking part in this readathon in one way or another. Therefore, I want to take part and I don't really want to skip a semester. Normally, I would also play my Adventurer's Path TBR. I did toy with the idea literally 5 minutes ago and I was like, are you crazy? Why would you do that? So instead, I'll go back to playing that next month, and there's going to be a slight twist on it next month. So it means that we're back to a very traditional, these are the prompts and these are the books that I've chosen for those prompts kind of video. I apologise that there's no game, but you get to see what my TBR is for this readathon. I'm going to start with my Orilium TBR because that's the shorter one. I could just get it out of the way with. This year my character is being an Eldian excavationist, so she's basically an archaeologist, and I had to get a grade D in animal studies and a grade Q in restoration. This is 5 books, so to get a grade D you have to read the O, Q and D for each subject. And so for animal studies, the O, which is the entry level one, we had to do Phoenix Keeping, which was a book with the phoenix in the title or the cover. For me personally, it's not a lore that I'm really interested in, and it's not something I own any books with. So I've purchased from the store a pass that will let me skip this grade and skip this one. So moving straight on to Shadow Misties for Q, which is to read a book that is a standalone. I've got Christina Henry's Horseman for this. And then for the D prompt, it's Recognising Morphs, which is a book that's gone through a cover change, and I've chosen Guilty Pleasures by Laurel K. Hamilton. It's had multiple cover changes, multiple iterations in its 20+ years of being in production, so I figure it's a good one to pick, and I know it's going to be a very quick, easy read, and it's a reread for me as well. And then for restoration, I only have to do the first 2, but I have picked books for all 3 of these. So the first one for O is to study Night Dew, a book with the night sky on the cover, and for this I've gone with Waking the Witch by Rachel Burge. It's very kind of hard to tell, but here at the back I'm counting this as being the night sky because it looks like a lighthouse with the night sky and the ocean. So that's how I'm interpreting it. I can't say that word. Interpreting it. Then we have Dangerous Plants, which is a book with a poisonous plant on the cover or the title. And I've got double whammy with Belladonna, which is a poisonous plant and has the plant on the cover. I was supposed to read it in August for a group read, but I decided because of that title and this, I would postpone it until September. But this is the Waterstone Special Edition that I got, and it is just the most gorgeous, beautiful thing ever, and I'm so happy with it. And I really hope that the book lives up to how pretty the design is. And then another one is A Quick Action in Crisis. Read a book with a verb in the title. I mean, it's not exactly a thing that you would want to do in a crisis, but depending on the crisis, it's something you would end up doing naturally. So yeah, we have those. And thankfully, I think all but one of those is also in my TBR for Adventurerathon, so I did very well with planning that. But for Adventurerathon, first of all, we had to do a book that was sort of based on the pathway of where we ended, and it was a double whammy, so you had to find a specific thing on the cover as well as either a map or be set in a real place in the real world. And for this, my character ended up taking Pathway 3 because she's very sort of interested in the wild and the lore and history of things, and she is very much of the nature type. And so she ended up going down Pathway 3, which was to find a book with fog, smoke or mist on the cover, and for this I've got Shiver. We have this kind of misty fog on the cover of the book, and it's all over the book, and it looks like smog. So that counts, and it is set in real world Japan. And then going into the house prompts, there are 10 of these. Even though I have picked a book for each of these prompts, I know where the keys are, so those will be the books through the month that I will be focusing on. So if you're on my Instagram, it may be worth keeping an eye on what I'm currently reading to get some ideas and to get a clue. But for the parlour, as you enter the room, the house gives you a very ominous feeling. So this is to read a book with a haunted house, gothic house type setting, or if you can't find that specific trope, it is a sort of a book that is considered gothic. For this, I have gone with the sentient house idea, and I think I'm right with this, which is What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I feel like perfect season, perfect time of year. It's also one of my partner Ren's favourite books of all time, so I am very, very eager to get to this, especially as it was a birthday present and I have yet to get to it. Then we had our social gathering space, and for this I've chosen the audiobook of House of Salt and Sorrow. It's set in an old English estate, and it sounds like it's a sort of noble family, so I'm assuming they will have a ballroom or some kind of gathering space like that in their property that is going to be mentioned, so I'm taking a bit of a risk, but I'm going for that. I've also tried to pick books that have got that more sort of Halloween-y, horror, thrillery vibe, because I really want to push myself to read gothic and horror this year, and so this is where I'm starting that. The study, we had the prompt of a single POV, and for this I have Horseman by Christina Henry, because this is told from the perspective of one character and it's in single person, first person. For the kitchen, it's a book featuring servants, and for this I'll be reading Black Butler Volume 3. I don't own a physical copy of it, but I do have access to most of the volumes thanks to my uncle who has most of them on his Kindle. Plus points for family members who are as nerdy as you and also read a lot of manga. So I'll be reading Volume 3 of Black Butler. The receiving room. The study I got wrong. The study was a character learning something, and that character learns about some family secrets and the story of Sleepy Hollow. The receiving room is the single POV, and that's where I've got Waking the Witch by Rachel Burge, which again is in first person narration. So same reason I picked the book, just the different thing prompt for the book. Moving on upstairs, moving on up. Anyway, the multipurpose room is the first room that we come across, and this is to read a mixed media or an audiobook. I'm going down the audiobook route for this and going with The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. I've had this on my TBR for so long, I have not gotten around to it, so it's about time that I get off my butt and start reading it, especially as I have heard really good things. The master bedroom is to read the entirety of this book in bed, and because it is quite kind of, in places, can be quite smutty, and the kind of topics that it covers, I don't feel comfortable reading these kind of books I don't, like, fair play if you are someone who can deal with that, but I cannot read super smutty or super heavy books out in public because I just don't. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. I read them in the privacy of my bedroom, and if I have any kind of reaction, I'm in the right place for it. And this is Guilty Pleasures by Laurel K. Hamilton. I know there are a couple of spicy things in here if I can remember correctly, but it's just, you know, I prefer these kind of books. I just prefer to be snuggled up in bed reading them, and I'm in the right situation, the right place for it. For me, that's the right place. The child's bedroom is next, and this is a parent main character, or the main character had to be under the age of 13 and 12 and under, aka not a teenager. And for this I've gone for the parent idea, and that is Alice by Christina Henry, because Hatcher has a daughter. And speaking of Alice, editing Kirsty coming in, because I have just been talking about Alice by Christina Henry, and while I was filming I heard something come through the door. It's my special edition of Alice, and look at it, it's so pretty. It's the Waterstones hardback signed edition, and just end papers are so pretty, and it has foiling and it's signed, and I just, oh my god. I mean, we all know how much I love this book anyway. I have talked multiple times on this channel how much I love this book. And I did toy with the idea of having this be my annotated copy, but no, I'm going to keep this as my special edition, and then I'm going to annotate this copy and keep this as just like my on the shelf to go to edition. But for guest room we have the friend pick. I went down the, I would normally pick her up, but she is curled up so cutely right now in front of me, and if I move her she's gonna yell. I got Ginty to pick for me. This is the video here. You can see Ginty picked my book. I put some treats on the book, and then I just sort of got her to come over, and it took her a little bit, but she got there eventually, and she picked Good Girls Don't Die by Christina Henry. Have you noticed a bit of a theme yet? I'm not saying that this is the month for Christina Henry. Finally, for the Alchemy Lab, it's a book with sort of alchemy, or if you want to have a modern day setting, it's like sciencey stuff, but I've gone down the literal alchemy setting with Infinity Alchemist by Case and Callender. This is their first foray into fantasy. It is YA, which I don't typically read much of these days, but if I am going to pick up YA, I am more likely to go for fantasy, so I am excited to give this one a try. And yeah, that is pretty much it. The only book from Orilium that isn't on my Adventurerathon TBR is Belladonna, so I'm thinking that this might be the book that I save for the final week. I'll use sort of like this and maybe Shiver by Junji Ito as like my final week books, because Shiver's got quite a lot of pages and it's a manga, so I can get through it quickly, and then Belladonna I can do on audiobook, which means I can get through it quite quickly. So I feel like my final week's going to be more audiobook heavy. But we're going to see, because I was in a really bad reading slump in July. I read one book I finished one book in the entirety of the month and DNF'd about 4. In August I've DNF'd 3 books and only read 3, which is still 3 times more than I did in July, but it's still not as much as I normally do. So I'm really hoping that because I'm now picking books that I'm really in the mood for, that kind of dark, atmospheric, borderline horror-esque, I'm really, really, really hoping that this is where my reading's going to really pick back up again. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments if you are taking part in either of these readathons and have you picked your books. And like I said, if you want to join Adventurerathon, there's no sign up or anything like that. Please do just go over onto the announcement video, which is linked below, and then come over onto Discord if you still have any further questions. We're always happy to help. But yeah, that is my TBR for the month of September. I'm really excited. I can't wait to get into all of these. Some of these books have been on my TBR for so long because I keep skipping them. But yeah, I'm so excited. I hope you join us for Adventurerathon. If not, maybe I'll see you over on Magical Readathon. But until then, I hope you're all good. I hope you're staying safe. Don't forget to check out my Patreon and my Etsy shop. Both are linked below. And I will see you on the next video. Bye!